We're both entrepreneurs. We were at a point in our life where we were $40,000 in credit card debt, because we weren't making any money.
Right.
Yes, you do not make money in real estate, especially in the first couple of years. We were in major debt. It was crazy. We were able to get out of it. And now I hate debt.
What about real estate debt?
Different, not bad debt. I'm talking credit card debt, if you can't pay it off and it just keeps going, you got the 20%, that stuff.
Welcome to Life Changing Money, a podcast all about one of the most taboo topics in the world, money. I'm your host, Barbara Strehand, and we're going behind the scenes on business owners' journeys to money, success, and wealth. Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Life Changing Money. I am so excited to have Miss Paige sells Temecula here, Paige Hardy-Hill. She is a super successful real estate agent in California. Have you always sold in California?
Yes. So I didn't even want to be in real estate. So my mom's been in real estate for 20 years. And Lord knows you would not catch me dead doing real estate. I grew up with it.
Yeah.
So that was the last thing that I wanted to do. But in 2015, we moved back to the United States. We were living in Prague. That's where I met my husband. And
that's freaking cool.
Yeah. If anyone's never been to Prague, highly recommend.
Oh, we'll talk about it. But you moved to California in 2015.
Yeah. And got married, did a little baby wedding in a backyard, get my husband's green card, that kind of stuff. Started studying for my license and got my license and started working under my mom. And I've been doing that for the last 10 years. So
were your parents entrepreneurs when you were little?
Yeah, my dad had always been in merchant processing, sales, running teams. My mom actually was in legal. She worked for a real estate legal law firm for 22 years before she got her license.
Oh, wow.
So entrepreneurship was really not in her wheelhouse. That was totally my dad's thing. And when she got her license, it was kind of, the typical mom gets her license, kind of does it on the side, no real end goal. We joke that my mom could do this for free. She loves it so much. She just doesn't care. And so when I came on board, it sparked a new love for real estate for her.
Aww.
And I love working with my mom. A lot of people say, I don't understand how you work with your family. And I go, my mom is a saint. She is a saint. I love her so much. But it is hard working for family, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm always battling things of the new stuff you're supposed to do in real estate, the video thing and social media. So it's definitely the last few years have been difficult. But
growing up, what did your dad teach you about entrepreneurship?
I remember him always being around. You don't really remember things when you're a baby. But I remember we used to live in Orange County. That's where I moved when I was 8, maybe. And I just remember going to the beach all the time. My dad was always home, when we got back from school. And it was so for me, I remember entrepreneurship being you're available for your family.
Flexibility.
You're there. Yeah, the flexibility. And he always said that that's what his goal was, that he worked so hard to get to that point where he could be there for us. My mom was at a law firm, so she was 9 to 5, I remember going to her office sometimes and watching movies in the conference room. But with my dad, he was always there on the weekends, and Fridays he had off, and he was I always was going surfing and do whatever I want. I was answering my phones at the beach. So I remember that. And that to me that's what I wanted to do. I never wanted to be a real estate agent and be working 24/7 and never seeing my kids. And that sucks.
So you were 18, then what happens?
So I was a Division I water polo player. I got a full ride scholarship to go play.
Water polo is so cool.
Yeah. So I also swam at the same time, and they needed me to dive because, it was a small school in Brooklyn. And they're we need divers. I'm okay, I did it for a year. I'll do it too, I guess. Great experience. I lived in the city, basically. So that taught me how to grow up really fast. And we were talking about the other day, I walk really fast.
Yeah.
because New York, you don't mess around, like you go.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And then I, had a nervous breakdown my senior year of college. And I said, I literally don't know what to do. I don't want to go into corporate America. That was an absolute no.
What was your major?
International business, surprise, surprise, with a minor in French and economics. And that was the last thing that I wanted to do. I studied at like a law firm, and I did an internship with a guy at an international law firm. That was an absolute no way am I going to be a lawyer. At the time, there's no way I was going to be a real estate agent with my mom. So my parents, I started traveling when I was like 14. And so my mom looked at me graduation day and she goes, why don't you just go live abroad? Why don't you just go,
Yeah.
go do something. And I said, okay, well, I could teach English, like why not?
Yeah.
So I got my TEFL certification to go teach English to kids. And I was like, where should I go? And I decided, so I'd been to a lot of different places. I had never been to the Czech Republic. It's one of the only cities that was not bombed in World War II. And I'm like, sure, I'll go there. And that's what happened. I graduated in May, went there in September, knew nobody, lived in a hostel for a month, met some people, and then, met my husband, my now husband, like 2 months later, and lived there for 2 years.
I love that your parents were so encouraging to just, if you don't know what you want to do, it's fine. Just go travel the world.
Yeah.
I feel like most parents are like, well, you need to do what your major was, or you're wasted all of our money.
You need to go get a job like somewhere and learn from people. I was like, I don't want to do that. As somebody who's always been like the captain of teams, and I just had no guidance for me after college. And that's why when my parents told me to do that, it changed the course of my life 100%.
Yeah.
Like I love traveling so much. And that's why in my own business, I encourage other people to do it. And even when I get clients that have never been out of the country and they're 60 years old and they've got $500,000 of equity, I'm like, y'all need to sell this and go travel the world. I'm like, because it will be too late. It will be too late. So I have a lot of friends who are just now doing this in their 30s and traveling. I got to do it in my 20s before I had kids. So I feel like I kind of got it out of me, if you will, like the fun, the partying, and like all that. But now I get to pass that on to my 2-year-old and my 3-year-old. And now we get to go travel together. And
How long were you in Prague?
2 years.
And then did you live in any other country?
So no, we just traveled a lot. So my husband's actually from England originally. And so he was there because there were no jobs in England at the time. So he just, he was bouncing around different countries. So I met him the typical way at a bar.
I love how Europeans, they're just like, I couldn't find a job, so I'm just traveling the country.
Yeah. Well, back then they were part of the, EU. So it was easy. You could just go wherever you wanted. And so I met this guy. He's got dreadlocks down to his butt.
This is your husband?
This is my husband. Yes. Yes.
I love this.
He's working at this bar. He's a scrawny little dude. And I just, when you know. And I looked at him. I was like, I'm going to marry that guy.
What?
Marry this dude.
Without even talking to him?
No.
Wow.
Just because I knew things about him and people were just like obsessed with him. And he's like, oh, Steve's like the nicest guy ever. And I'm like, yeah, he's mine. And it was funny because like, I am very competitive, like obviously being a D1 athlete is just in my blood. And I'm quite aggressive too, but it works, especially.
Did you make the first move?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I went up to him and I'm like, hello, sir. And 2 years later, we're married, and we have our 10-year anniversary this year.
Aww.
Somehow he hasn't murdered me yet.
Well, my one rule of marriage is to not ever marry a bartender. Maybe that's false.
He's an engineer.
Okay.
So he's he owns a structural engineering company. He has his degree in civil engineering.
Okay.
But obviously at the time, I knew nothing about him. He could have been the bottom of the barrel dude. Like I had no idea who he was. And of course, my dad sees pictures of him and he goes, what is this? I'm like, don't you judge me. And then, of course, my dad meets him 2 years later. The most wonderful human being on the entire planet. Nicest guy you'll ever meet. Smartest dude you'll ever meet. We complement each other so well, especially because real estate is such a stressful business. And I mean, like any company, any entrepreneur, right? When you don't work, you don't make money, all that stuff. And so whenever I have a very stressful day, he's there to like,
engineers are very even keel.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And it's funny.
Does he still have dreads?
No, he cut those off as soon as we moved back to the States. But it's funny because that was not actually going to be our path. After 2 years, we're kind of like, okay, we're done with the partying. And now we kind of want to do something else. We've always wanted to go to Southeast Asia. We're like, we're going to go to Vietnam. He's like, I'll just go, work at a bar there and I can teach English. They make really good money teaching English over there. And just happens, my dad calls me and goes, hey, what if you got your real estate license and, your mom is, misses you guys. She's kind of sad. And it would be really cool if you guys could do that. Like I have Steve a job already. He worked for a structural engineering guy at the time and come on over and okay, sure.
So no Vietnam.
Nope, never went to Vietnam. I went to Thailand and Hong Kong for my MBA program instead. So I at least was able to get to Southeast Asia at one point. But yeah, that changed the whole trajectory of our life,
But what made you, because before you were like so anti getting your license and then dad calls you.
I think, Steve and I were chatting and he goes, well, he wanted to get back into engineering. He's always loved the structural side of things. And, that was kind of his little specialty. And you can make so much money in real estate. It's ridiculous. Like you
can also make nothing.
You can also make nothing. But if you are good at it, and the side note, so when I was living in Prague, I became a tour guide for stag parties. So if no one knows what a stag party is, it's like bachelor party for mostly British people. And so I got really good at selling, like really good at upselling stuff. And I think that's why I'm a pretty good real estate agent now, because I could deal with anyone. I mean, I could deal with like the drunk dude and like, oh, hey, I think you should buy this.
Yeah.
But I think I just looked at it from a perspective of, that can't be horrible. I do love working with my mom. And the fact that Steve already had like a job going into it, I'm like, why not? We can always leave. We can always
had that been a discussion with you two before, like him wanting to move to the States?
Not really. I think we were all we didn't even know if we wanted to have kids. Like where we are now was not where we were 10 years ago. It's so funny how things change. And we got there and it worked out. It just worked, and I'm so glad that we did because we probably wouldn't have had the kids that we have now. And he the way that it all transpired is that he ended up getting fired from the job that he originally got there when we moved to Temecula. And I was just found out I was pregnant with our first kid, and it forced him to start his own company and become an entrepreneur, because that's not what he was. He was always the guy that worked for people and it's just easy. And 3 years later, he's making over $500,000.
Amazing.
And zero ad expense.
When one door closes, another one opens.
Oh, I told him this is the best experience for you to get fired. Like, thanks, guy. But yeah, the both of us, we're both entrepreneurs. We were at a point in our life where, we were $40,000 in credit card debt, because we weren't making any money.
Right.
Yes, you do not make money in real estate, especially in the first couple of years, unless you just, you have the ability to do it. Yeah, we were in major debt, it was crazy. And then we were able to get out of it. And now I hate debt. I hate payments on things. It's it changed.
What about real estate debt?
Different, not bad debt. I'm talking like credit card debt. Like if you can't pay it off and it just keeps going, you got the 20%, that stuff I absolutely hate. And so that's one thing with my clients that I'm a big advocate for. So I never advocate to be house poor, none of that stuff. And especially if they have debts that they need to pay off. Like I have student loan debt, and my husband and I are always talking about, we need to get those paid off first before we make any major financial decisions, buy any other properties. Because yes, I know we could buy a house and it starts bringing in money, but the faster I get my debt paid off in that big chunk, I can actually keep that money and then start fresh.
Yeah.
So
your mom's had a brokerage for a long time.
yeah.
And you move over, get your license. What did she teach you about real estate?
Well, I was very lucky to sit next to her while she got to talk on the phones every single day because we lived with them for 6 months.
Okay.
Do not recommend for a lot of people. Only lasted 6 months. But it was a really big learning curve because I got to see how she spoke to clients. I saw how she was able to negotiate. I mean, she's very good with contracts, being in law. She's very good at contracts. So, I mean,
which is so important.
Oh my God.
I cannot tell you how screwed I've gotten on a real estate contract before.
Oh yeah, because you want to trust your real estate agent that they know how
We
to
fully trusted them and shouldn't have.
No. I mean, even to this day, I'll have her look at things because, she was very good at short sales, obviously, back when all the crazy stuff happened. And so even to this day, I wrote an offer for a short sale. I'm like, I need you to look at this because I've actually never done one because they just don't exist in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, totally knows what she's talking about. And even with the changes in all the contracts, it's still can understand things and it's always changing. But I was able to go on appointments with her, and just that is truly what they don't teach you in real estate school is going on appointments, like how to get clients and how to talk to people. And so now 10 years later, now she's learning from me because it's like a flip flop. She's been in it for 20 years and a lot of things have changed, but, and so we work off of each other, and we're totally different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice when I have someone, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to vibe with them. I'm not going to work with them very well. Can you please?
Here's my mom.
Here's my mom. We call her Nana Jill.
Aww. Thank God for Nana Jill.
Thank God for Nana Jill sometimes. But also thank God for me, because we had a situation once where the seller was just, can I curse?
Yeah.
Such an asshole. Like, such a jerk. And my poor mom, she's just listening to this lady hours at a time. And I finally was like, let me take this. I'm like, give me just a little bit of the commission.
Yeah.
I will take on the crazy lady. And I got it done. I think the escrow, we got a cash offer. We closed it in 5 days, which is like the fastest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Yeah, that's great.
And because I just didn't take any of this lady's shit. I'm like, no, you don't get to talk to people that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why in our industry they feel because they're technically paying us that they can just be rude and mean and like they're doing us a favor.
Yeah.
Because it's not true. We have, we're just trying to
You're
help.
human. You're human
Yeah.
too.
And we're just trying to help you make millions of dollars. Okay? We're basically making pennies from this. But so that's why it's really nice working with her, because we get to bounce off of each other really well.
And you just recently did a big rebrand.
Yes.
Tell us what all went into that.
So we were, Hardy Homes and Estates, Inc., and then Hardy Realtors. And it got to a point where people were saying realtors or realty, and it was starting to bug me. And
I have this debate with my real estate friends too.
Yeah.
Do you not like the word realtor?
I do, but people don't pronounce it right.
Okay, wait. How do you say it?
It's realtor.
How do you
It's
not say it?
Realtor. It's not realtor. People add an A in there in the middle.
Shit. Now how do I say it?
Realtor. It's probably more like realtor. But we were Hardy.
But people say
Realtors.
realtor. People say realtor.
Like with a D.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. So
Realtor.
I was like, okay, I think it's time, plus the colors that we had were a bit, I think, younger in a sense. And so I said, I think we need to do a rebrand. We need to hit a different type of clientele also. I'm sick of being in a certain price point, and I feel that we just need to do something different. I like change.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, and
What's your Enneagram?
Was it 8? I did this so long ago. I feel like it was an 8.
Okay. You're an 8, probably with a strong wing 7, because you seem like a 7 to me, but I can also see
it
the
might
8.
have been a 7. I don't know, because obviously the 7's my lucky number. So I'm like, maybe
8 wing 7. I bet.
I reached out to an agent that uses this branding person. So I was like, let's do it. So I wanted to change the name too. So I thought the Hardy Group sounds
Without Realtor.
Without Realtor. Obviously, and the funny thing with my parents, they were like, well, how are they going to know we're real estate agents? I'm like, well, Jill, if you go on our Instagram, it's quite obvious because it does still say Temecula Valley Realtors, and it says like houses and how to buy things. And like, I think people will know. Don't worry.
Do you call your mom Jill?
I do.
Yeah. Not mom ever?
It depends on my mood.
Okay.
So like, I'll be in a group, like, if I want to get her attention, I'm like, Jill, or I'll say mom. So it just kind of depends. People find it really funny when we have a podcast, and I'll call her Jill, and the guy laughs every single time. And he's like, I can't believe you call your mom Jill. I'm like, whatever. I'm a mom now, I can call her by her first name. So yeah, so we did the rebrand, and I love it. And I feel like it's something that I contributed to, and it's just like fresh, and I am very much a real person on Instagram. Like this last year, I decided to get out of my own way with video. Social media, I said, F that. So, I've closed a couple transactions just from Instagram, and obviously I want to do more. So that's why And
you're so authentic on there, which I love.
Yeah,
some people are too freaking filtered.
No.
Try to be scripted and like say things all the right way.
No, I'll cuss on
nobody
there.
wants
I'll show my kids, and I'll talk about the hard days of, the struggle. Like,
Joe was an asshole again today. This client.
But people love it. They feel like I get a lot of engagement, especially when I'm not afraid to throw people under the bus, or like if they were rude. So I've had conversations with other agents where they're just clearly like a dick, and I'll put them on my social media. I'm like,
do they know? Has anyone ever said like, were you talking about me?
No, because they don't follow me. Most agents aren't on social media.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah, no, most agents aren't on social media. I have a client right now where she's annoyed that the agent hasn't gotten back to us about an offer, and she's like, I can't even find his website doesn't work, I can't find him on social media. She's just like so mad at him. And I'm like, well, thank God I'm your agent, okay, because I'm everywhere.
Yeah,
you can find me everywhere.
So what colors did you pick since you wanted a refresh?
So we have like a terracotta, we have like a linen, a charcoal, pretty. Those just very autumn colors. But now that we're out of autumn, they don't feel like autumn colors anymore. Yeah. And they just feel fresh. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like because we do like the orange, and my parents, love the orange, and someone was like, why don't you do a different color? I'm like, no, I actually really like this. I think it goes well with, it's not like I'm wearing orange, I'm not going to be, orange doesn't look good on me personally, but I'm also not going to be wearing an orange t-shirt, but it looks really nice. And just, yeah, I'm super excited to just put it on everything.
I've never been to Temecula.
Well, if you haven't, we have over 50 wineries.
And I was going to say, everyone that I know that goes there is for the wineries.
Yeah. So Temecula is very well known for our wine country. And there were a couple of wineries that just opened. There's no specific wine that they're known for per se, but they're all different kinds. Like, you like the younger vibes going on, you want the older, like there's ones they have like organic wine, not my favorite, but people love that. So there's a market for that. And then, we've got like Wilson Creek, which is like the huge one, or South Coast. Those are the two big ones. I like the small guys.
Yeah.
I like to support local family owned ones, which there's a couple that are still like family owned. And, we do our client appreciation parties there.
Oh, cool.
I love to give
good idea
gifts for local wine, because you can't, even when I get a referral from an outside agent, like if I can't send you a bottle of wine, I'll send you like Temecula olive oil, because we have a lot of olive oil and citrus and just, yeah. And we've got Old Town too.
I'm from Paso Robles, which is another wine country. It's like Napa and then Paso and then now Temecula.
Yeah.
And once we blew up with wine, the housing prices like went crazy.
Yeah.
So is that happening in Temecula too?
And so Temecula and Murrieta are like the two big cities. I personally live in Murrieta. Temecula is probably $50,000 to $100,000 more in a home price in Temecula because of the wineries, the mall, and Old Town. So Old Town's blowing up, wineries are blowing up. So and the schools are fantastic. So that's why people are going there from different parts of San Diego, LA, Orange County, because if you go to Oceanside, which is, you know, an affordable area of San Diego, schools suck.
Yeah.
So people are coming up our direction. And of course, they have San Diego money. And now they're bringing that up here. So during COVID, it was gross how fast the home prices were increasing from all of the surrounding expensive areas money. But we have loan limit caps. So we can only go so high when it comes to affording a home.
Yeah.
But I personally moved to Murrieta because we have good schools still too, but you get a little bit more for your money.
Yeah.
And they're still building out the city and a little less traffic. I'm like very big on where can I go that doesn't have a lot of traffic because I hate it.
I mean, the good thing with housing prices increasing there is that investors have a lot of room for appreciation of the property.
Yeah.
So that's the perk of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of, you know, you can still do even short-term rentals in the county limits of Temecula, but you can't do anything less than 30 days as a short-term rental within the city limits of Temecula or Murrieta anymore. So they stopped that maybe like a couple years ago, you know, complaining and whatever. But the long-term market is still really good in our area because maybe you can't afford to buy, but you want to hit the good schools. You know, I'm working with an investor right now that he just wants to be in like a good area because the appreciation and the home prices and just, you can see the home prices, I think last year for our area went up 10%.
Oh, wow.
That's why I tell people, stop waiting.
I know.
I have a client I've been working with since 2018.
You can refi later and get a lower rate.
Yeah.
Like just buy the house now when the price is lower.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm always like, don't buy it if you can't afford it. Like, assume this is what the rate might still be forever. So if you can't hold on to a $5,000 mortgage for 30 years, then maybe wait. But if you can, and we know that historically the rates will go down. I mean, over a year and a half ago, they were 8%. Now they're in the low sixes again.
Yeah.
So real estate is always a very good investment. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, yeah. That's where millionaires are made, is by buying and selling real estate.
Also being in the right rooms with people.
Yes.
And you just wrapped up our retreat from being in our council mastermind.
Yes.
How was your experience?
It was so much different than any mastermind I've ever been a part of. But like in a good way, because it wasn't just like focusing on, okay, lead gen, and this is what you need to do. It was more like the mental side of being a business owner. And if we're not okay up here, we're not going to be okay out there. And I think that's a lot of what we took away with, because I know for me, if I'm not in a good mental state, like my business is not going to do well. I mean, there was a point where I lost $60,000 in literally one day because I had 3 transactions just go like, good. I was depressed for 6 months. And that's not normal for me. Usually if something happens, I'm good for like 24 hours. I'm over it. But it was so hard for me to get over that. And I think when we do things like this and we do retreats that are centered around your mental health and like learning about things for your own personal well-being, that will help you in the long run. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. I loved it. And listen, I like meet your new besties.
Yes. I loved how well everyone was vibing.
Yeah.
That was important to me.
One, I got to meet some people that maybe were like, because there are obviously people who talk more than others.
Yeah.
There are like the listeners, and then there's the activators, and then there's the ones that chit chat a lot more. And so I was able to be in a group with, I think, 2 of the quieter people when we did our little breakouts. And so it was nice to hear their story, because I feel like if we didn't do that, they wouldn't have shared, you know, like there's a group of 16 people. They're not the ones that are going to be jumping on and talking about like what they're struggling with.
Right.
Stuff. So when you're in a smaller group, they tend to be like, okay, this is a safe space. I can talk about this. Because I have that problem. I talk a lot. Like when I was in a group, like you will hear me. But I'm not apologetic about it anymore. Yeah. I used to care. People were like, oh, Paige, like you don't care what comes out of your mouth. I'm like, no, I don't. You know?
And you'll attract the people to you that don't care about that.
No, I want to work with people who like me.
Yeah.
People who don't like me and judge me all the time. Sucks.
Right. So for people that want to invest in Temecula or move to Temecula or anywhere in that area, where's the best place to find you?
Instagram is a good one. Paige sells Temecula. You will find it. Or house parties. That one's a good one. Either way, they go to me.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. It was fun.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Life Changing Money. Don't forget to subscribe, and I would love if you left a review and shared it with your friends. See you next time.